It's Open House Thursday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Obiajulu Ugbo. How are you?
Hello, people of Jehovah. How you guys doing this morning? I'm excited. Tomorrow is the Lagos International Trade Fair.
Nice.
And I'm going to be there with my wares. I'm also using that opportunity to launch my new products, my healthy snacks. I'll be starting with granola and kulikuli on that day. So it's starting tomorrow. It's going to be for 10 days. I want you guys to come support me. Let's come and buy market. The clothes, the hair, everything is just going to be there. And I'll be fully there. Hall 1, number 12.
Hall 1, number 12.
Number 12. Number 12, yes.
I like how you just went ahead because I was trying to tell her to enter. I wanted to enter the kuli thing with her. But you didn't have my time.
Not ready.
She said you did not have my time. Or you did not have her time.
Hi, Dean.
Me, I'm good. I'm just happy to be here. I mean, it's not every day we'll come here and just come up with something. I have no gist. I'm just happy to be alive. And
It's one of those days, I can understand. You should have gist. You just graduated, menting stuff, experiential marketing stuff.
As in, you know, I feel that business, a lot of people in diaspora want to run businesses in Nigeria without clear understanding that they need to be involved. Nobody runs a business in absentia.
At all.
And people just have this utopia idea that you can sit in one country and somebody will be working for you tirelessly here. So I had that conversation with an entrepreneur who lives in the UK and is struggling with his business here. And he was lamenting about Nigerians. And I'm like, you're a Nigerian. You are not on ground. Did you put any policy on ground? Did you put any company culture on ground? You think you just employ someone and the person would start running your business for you like it's their own? I said, what you need is a partner. Give that staff that you feel has capacity, give them a percentage in the business, let them feel a sense of ownership. Then, but, you know, it's easy for you to just lament and say, Nigerian people don't like to work.
Really?
Nigerian people don't want to do this thing. I've been calling them, they are not ready. I said, you need to tell me where the money is. Show me how this is going to benefit me long term. And it's easy to sit down there and say, I'm not coming to Nigeria again. I'm tired, but I have businesses, TMO, you have to help me. The truth is, if your business is here, sit down and do it.
And work out.
Make it work.
It's after you put, I think we talked about it yesterday, once you put the structure in place that works seamlessly, you can then excuse yourself. But until you do that, you can't really expect that somebody
takes a lot of work.
And listen, you have to really get people to work. Yesterday, I went to INEC office because to just check on my PVC, you know, I was so embarrassed. I don't have a PVC. So I went there. I mean, I've already registered, but I just never picked up. So I never complained that people should go and pick up. Then I start lamenting, can't pick up. So I went there. So there are few batches. I was at the office. The guy was very nice. At the gate, he said, before you enter the office, where's your slip? I didn't have a slip. He said, okay, go to the website. And he typed in my name. He got my details. And he now gave me my code. I entered the office. I got there. Of course, I didn't remember anything about anything. I just said, this is my number.
It should be in the system.
So in the system, they pulled it up. They couldn't find it. They told me, well, maybe you should go back and check something else. But the lady now called me back. I said, okay, I think you're a transfer, which is actually true. So you're actually either a new fresher that's actually applied or transferred. You might forget. I forgot. I forgot that I actually did a transfer.
Okay.
So then they were to trace it. And they found that, okay, they told me when to come back and pick up my card. The point is, please, if you registered for your PVC, go and pick up. Some of us are so busy. If it's now January 31st, everybody now start running over each other to go. Go now. There's no line. Just stop at the office.
They'll be lying today.
Someone like me that totally even forgot what I signed, what I didn't have any slip. I went there, gave them my name, my birth date, and they were able to pull up the system, and they got my code, and they were able to trace it. So please go and pick up your PVC. It's extremely important because you must participate. Everybody must vote.
And
for
those who have forgotten like their details,
they're forgotten.
the best time to
yes,
go when
just
they're
go now that there's no crowd. Yes.
I wanted to just confirm, have they printed those people that just registered?
Yes, so a lot of people, no, those who have registered, they told them to come back first week in December. But just go first. You never know. Yours might be out.
Already.
So, but there are a lot of people that came there. They said, sorry, if you've registered this year, come back first week in December. But don't take my word for it. Go there and go and check it, please. Okay, let's go on a break. When we return, we'll look at the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
2023, APC is unbeatable in Lagos, says Tinubu. Shetima Ganduje rally, Arewa community and APC presidential candidates preaches unity. Flooding, our plan to avert food shortage by federal government. Road housing project contractors owed 956 billion naira, says Fashola. WHO predicts 30% rise in Africa's cancer deaths in 20 years. Federal High Court names task force on pre-election cases. Canada plans to welcome 1.4 million migrants from Nigeria and others. Afenifere drops Adebanjo as acting national leader. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Flooding. So the federal government has said yesterday that it's working out a contingency plan to avert food shortage in the country. The plan, according to the government, is to encourage farmers to produce some crops twice during the dry season. We know that the flood has been very terrible on most of the farmlands, and a lot of people who have lost produce and lands worth billions of naira. Also, about 600 lives were lost as well, and a lot of people displaced from their homes. So the presidential candidate of the APC yesterday said he was going to be donating 50 million to support with this flood victims, especially victims in Delta State. All Giant Shell Petroleum Development Company of Nigeria also announced that they are committed to $1 million for the provision of relief materials to victims in Niger Delta. Also, 260 million was okayed by the FEC, Federal Executive Council, to reconstruct some sections of the East-West Road damaged by the floods already. But the Agriculture and Rural Development Minister, Mohamed Abubakar, said that what they are going to be doing is to use this dry season to compensate for the loss that they have had. So they are going to be producing twice more than they would normally produce. They are also going to be focusing on areas that are not, that don't have a lot of flooding to produce more there, areas that don't have a lot of insecurity issues to produce more there. He said that they've got funding from the African Development Bank. They also have some money on their own. The International Fund for Agricultural Development also just donated about $5 million US as a grant to help them. And the president is insisting that we must not have food shortage in the country.
Let me talk about, go ahead.
Let me talk about Canada. Canada has laid out a very ambitious plan of getting 1.4 million migrants between 2023 to 2025 to help with their labor shortages.
Wow.
I'm wondering, where are the people in this country?
They have a target.
Anyway, they said that this is a purely economic, they are focused on their economic growth, and they need more people. And so over the years from 2023 to 2025, they gave that they will have a few numbers coming in. So in 2023, they're arranging for about 485,000. In 2024, 500,000, and so on and so forth. And I'm saying that that's a lot of migrants. I hope they know that when migrants get there, they will get married, they will have children, they have cousins.
As I was saying,
as
I mentioned in the makeup room, that at the event yesterday, 2 days ago, the Adela creator Inyola was saying that many of these Western countries, in the next 30 to 40 years, many of them will have an average age of over 55 years old, 45 years of age. So they need the labor. We in Africa were likely to have in Nigeria specifically, our average is likely to be 22 years.
They're not giving birth?
They're a lot of expenses. They're not giving birth as much as we are. Ours is going to be 22 years.
We are dishing it out.
We have lots of young people.
So we are the surrogate mother.
Yes, we are
going to be working for them.
Anyway, I was going to talk about the Minister of Housing and Works, Minister Raji Fashola, was giving a report to the Budget Defense of the Senate yesterday, and he was saying that the government is owing 956 billion naira, of which 191 is for housing and 765 is for the infrastructure projects. He says that housing projects right now is ongoing out of 35 states, out of 36 states, and that they have about 1,250 contractors, and they've also been able to have a direct employment of over 29,000 and 57,000 indirect employment, and they have about 6,000 housing units across the nation. Now, one of the challenges I know he has said in the past is that they build houses, but many people are not taking these houses. People have complained that the places where these houses are probably far from where
they really
the
want
city is, or where there's
the jobs.
Yeah, so it's very far, it's on the outskirts. So they're having issues of people actually taking up these houses, and that's a conversation we need to also have.
So we need to move businesses there, we need to move schools there, we need to move hospitals there. And
So
things
that's
like that.
simple.
And if the roads are good too, they can.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's really that simple. I'll take this a really sad story.
In nation?
Yes, in the nation about cancer. So the WHO has made a very sad prediction that about 30% will be having a 30% rise in cases of cancer within Africa. Said that currently every year the record is 1.1 million new cases of cancer and 700,000 people lost to cancer yearly. What are the challenges? Health sector. So we don't have enough professional oncologists. We don't have enough pathologists. We don't have enough radiation centers. We don't have medical personnel in this specific field of cancer research and treatment. Also, many of the cases are discovered late. So early detection of cancer can prevent a lot of loss of lives, but people don't get aware early. So they said lack of awareness and education, delay in diagnosis and treatment. They also mentioned that the WHO is trying to bring in some palliative care to help the situation, but it's a long-term projection of 30% increase over the next 20 years. We can actually prevent it. Survival rate in Africa is as low as 20%. Compared to developed countries that have 80% survival rates after being diagnosed with cancer. So obviously, we have a problem and we can plan ahead on how to solve it.
Ironically, one of the richest men in Nigeria is about to rent a yacht for his 60th birthday. I'm not taking the story. I'm just saying that
when we have serious problems.
Just real problems. I'm saying, ironically, one of the richest men for his 60th birthday is renting millions of euros yacht. He's renting it.
In Naira,
From a Greek Aristotle or something, I can't have to get the name.
So what's the issue with that?
I'm just saying that we have problems.
Set up a cancer
What's the
foundation.
I just said ironically.
Not work it for
I
you.
would not.
you know,
It's a hot
and
topic.
also
It's
his
money. It's a hot topic.
He's doing a lot. He must not kill himself.
His daughter also has this foundation where she has helped so many people.
Thank
She doesn't
you.
do many
Okay.
things, providing
This is
jobs.
Did you work the
debatable.
money for him?
It's a good topic. We can discuss it. I think it's worth talking
Let
about.
us back where
Let
the
us
doctors on this table.
moving on to the Punch. I'm just telling you. I think we should discuss it. The Punch. EFCC arrests 87 Forex dealers in Abuja and Lagos. Ganduje begs Lagos housing communities to back Tinubu and Shatima. Ifeanyi Davido's nanny May and Cook may face charges for negligence. Oil theft, 134 ships rust as court cases drag. Katsina abduction, woman abducted while raising wedding money. Fashion says, I am an Afeniferi's leader. Adebanjo's response, you're joking. Flood FG okays 506 billion naira east-west road contract. And powers Senate to grill minister over 147 billion naira projects. Okay.
So we do the major headline?
Go ahead, please.
Yes. So we know that the CBN has said they were going to redesign the Naira, which will start circulating from December 15. And that caused some sort of panic because they said they did that to be able to fish out illicit and illegal businessmen, politicians, bandits who have kept, stash of cash in their homes. Now, what has happened was that the Nigerians who had those money in their homes started going to change it to dollars using the BDCs. And yesterday in Abuja, some BDCs were closed down. They said about 87 Forex dealers were clamped down. They went in, ransacked their buildings, were searching for cash and all that. And yesterday, they moved it down to Broad Street in Lagos. They shut down about 25 legal and illegal Forex dealers in addition to the 40 arrested. They said they are doing this because they want the BDC people to be aware that most of these people who have kept illegal money will be coming to them, and that has also affected the dollar rising to 857. But after the raid yesterday, the dollar dropped to 820 naira to $1. But speaking yesterday, the Assistant Provost Association of let me get his name, Bureau de Change Operators in Zone 4, is saying that this is not illegal acts, that they come into the place without any arrest or search warrants. They just, go in and then they are ransacking office. However, they are not taking money from the BDCs. They are just, sort of arresting the people. They've released about 25 of them. They still have 13 persons with them, and they are not releasing their phones to them. That this is illegal. They should, have a conversation. If they are criminals, the government should do what it needs to do, but not stopping innocent BDC members who are just doing their businesses. They have registered with CBN, they are doing their legal businesses and all of that. However, they said they had a meeting as well yesterday with the BDC and the EFCC, and they're just, you know, telling them that every transaction they do going forward must be recorded because they will come after them.
Yes.
They are looking for bandits
100%.
who have hidden money away, and they are coming full clamp on everybody.
Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Still reviewing points. So the friction between Power Fashion and the Afenifere leader Adebanjo is still building as both of them have refused to concede to each other. So Power Fashion was insisting that he's still the leader. He never resigned from Afenifere. He's saying that I didn't resign or retire from leadership. I was misunderstood. I think the best thing is to correct that. He says that Adebanjo does not have the capacity to want me or not to welcome Tinubu, that they saw how Tinubu was received. That there was nowhere where it was Peter Obi was ever in the mind. However, Adebanjo insisted that he is the leader of Afenifere, and he has endorsed Peter Obi as Afenifere's choice for the presidency, and he has taken a stand on Obi, and no other splinter or rebel group is going to start a controversy on it. That he's insisting that Peter Obi is a choice for Afenifere. Both leaders have been going back and forth at each other, and there's crisis within the organization. But if you see, I mean, based on the event that happened, many of the leaders within the Southwest came, and they also were there when Power Fashion had endorsed Tinubu. But this is really, really crazy because
it's a messy fight.
It's very
at
messy.
This time.
It's very messy that you expect that by the Southwest to be united and one on one pool, but for whatever reason, but hey, everybody has a choice.
We'll move from the Southwest to the North. The governor of Kano State was in Lagos, and
Nduji.
Yes, Abdullahi Ganduje and the running mate for Bola Tinubu, Kashim Shettima, and the governor of Lagos State went to the Hausa communities here in Lagos State in the Ojo area. And the message from the governor of Kano State is, we're here with good tidings and we have brought you good news. As far as the northern part of this country is concerned, the issue of Tinubu presidency is complete. He also goes ahead to say that Kano will get Asiwaju the most votes ever, but that he's, also asking that Lagos State can beat the number. And the governor also talked about all the developments and projects that they have been doing and how this, would be even more widespread with the presidents.
Serious story. 134 ships are rusting currently on our waterways between Lagos, Port Harcourt, and Rivers State. No, right. Port Harcourt is Rivers. Port Harcourt and Rivers are the same. There are like 3 communities that was mentioned. And the reason this 134 worry naval bases, so there are cases of oil bunkering ongoing on those 134 vessels, and the cases have been pending. 118 ships have been held for over a decade, since 2015. Yay. 118 ships have been held. In 2021, 16 were held. Some of these ships, all of these ships are laden with crude oil. Like, they caught the ships with crude oil and kept them at the naval bases. The spokesperson for Nigerian Navy was Commodore Adedotun Ayo Von, was the one that was giving this statement that these ships are rotting. Some of them are rusting. Some of them might sink, and they are carrying oil. What are the challenges? Or cases in the courts. No, they stole the fuel. They stole crude oil. So they were arrested and kept at the naval base while pending the trial. Yes. So now the trials have been ongoing, some for over a decade. Sometimes they will transfer the judge. Sometimes they will transfer the case. The cases have not been concluded, and the vessels were not forfeited. So the vessels are there. They cannot take the crude oil. They cannot touch it. It is taking space. It is rotting. The reason Nigeria Navy is even crying out now is they are arresting more. They don't know where to keep these. And the vessels are there. So it's like there is nowhere in the world. They said there's nowhere in the world this should be happening. The judiciary needs to speed up the process for prosecuting this, or just first forfeit all this so that we can at least...
We can sell and make money. This is our resources.
Or even sell the vessels for scrap. but let's forfeit.
Sell the vessels for scrap.
There are many issues there, but everywhere you look.
From the Navy.
Yes, tell us what's
No, but we need someone from federal government. Who can
Some cases are under EFCC, so the EFCC is trying some cases. So
let's just move on. Let's just move on. It's just Nigeria is very complex.
everywhere you look, you just see another batch.
It's not that complex.
Leadership,
Vanguard. Buhari's ministers are the stalling anti-graft war, says reps. No U-turn on BVA's Buhari position stance, says presidency. Retiring article to Dubai, Oshomole Momodu disagree over Shetima's comments. 2023 court OK suit seeking to void nomination of all APC candidates. 2023 don't collude with politicians to set Nigeria ablaze, can president tells clerics. E-Naira records 700,000 transaction valued at 8 billion naira. Rivers releases 78 billion naira for completion of projects, award of new ones. Okay, which story?
The presidency.
Okay,
I said that President Muhammadu Buhari will stand by the deployment of the bimodal voters accreditation system, that's BVAS, for credible, fair, and transparent elections in 2023. So this was said by the Special Advisor on Media and Publicity to the President, Femi Adesina. He disclosed this on Tuesday while he was delivering his goodwill message at the 2022 International Day to End Impunity for Crimes Against Journalists. The theme of the year's celebration was media, civil society, and violence-free election in Nigeria. So he was reacting to the alarm that was raised by some civil society organizations, CSOs, and the spokesperson of the Coalition of United Political Parties, Ikenga Ugochinyere, about the plan by some political actors to remove INEC's chairman, that's Mahmoud Yakubu, through the National Assembly and deactivate BVAS so that it doesn't transmit for the 2023 election. So he is saying that how many times has the president said that he's going to stand by free and fair elections? We should not believe most of these rumors because the president himself had contested about 3 times, and at the end he kept going back to the Supreme Court because they were not able to transmit the results well. And now he has trust in technology, that since technology has come, some things will be easy. So anytime you hear any rumor, that the media needs to keep speaking to the public for them to understand that President Muhammadu Buhari is for free and fair election, and BVAS must stay in these 2023 elections.
Okay, so you mean that the president of the Christian Association of Nigeria is charging all clerics. Sorry, that's the Eminence, His Eminence Archbishop Daniel Oko, and he's charging and urging all clerics to, he says, do not collude with politicians at this hour, that we're in to heat up the polity. He says, while we are passing through a turbulent period in our country, I advise all religious leaders across the country to not join politicians in overheating the polity as the country approaches the 2023 general elections. It's not the time to join. So basically, it's just saying that they should take their time to pray more for our country, and that they should be careful not to say insightful things while they're on the pulpit. Only speak when it is something that is positive and, will help the country. Let them not be seen or heard to sort of, be involved in politics that would cause rancor and division among our people. So this is the time that they as clerics must pray, and be the... this I'm adding my own now, is that they should actually sort of be the example of how we should also, conduct ourselves, whether we have differences. Because in many churches like that, you have people with different, different parties, but we all come to these houses to worship. It would be nice to know that the cleric there is not instigating or pushing a particular agenda. Or bringing people together during this period.
Months to the end of his tenure, Governor Nyesom Wike has released 78 billion naira to be paid to contractors that are pending contractors. Said they have to complete all the buildings. They don't want to leave this tenure without any uncompleted projects. So they released that money, and they also appointed about 7,000 justices of peace to help ensure the prevalence of peace and law order. Let's move on to the Nigerian Tribune. PDP asked court to sack Adamu-led NWC Tinubu all APC candidates. Customs discovered 3,116 cut classes imported from Ghana inside Ogun Bush.
Really?
Aviation Union ends picketing of Lagos airports. FEC okays increase in East-West road contract cost of 506 billion naira. NIS arrests 18 foreigners in Oyo for possessing PVCs. INEC to spend 356 billion naira on 2023 elections. And High Court to dispose of pre-election cases in Forex. Okay, which story?
Yes, I'll take the Nigerian Immigration Service in Oyo State said that they have arrested and repatriated 18 foreigners that were caught with PVCs. Of course, as foreigners and migrants, they're allowed to, if they have their proper documentation, allowed to come into our country and conduct their businesses, but they are not under any circumstance allowed to participate in the elections. And so for those of them who had these PVCs, they have been repatriated. And also, this was said because they want Nigerians to understand that they also believe in making sure that there's a free and fair and credible elections going forward, and they're also playing their part to make sure that this is what we get.
So there was a story that we skipped. This Inspector General of Police, Usman Alkali Baba, has asked the Commissioner of Police for Osun State to grill and investigate the situation between the divisional crime officer in Odeomu, Osun State. His name is Matthew Ajayi, and his assault on a fellow colleague, the Inspector Bamidele Olorunshoga. So the lady, no, the woman assaulted Bamidele Olorunshoga, and she said that she was propositioned by Matthew Ajayi, a colleague in the office, and she said no, she's married, and the man started spreading rumors that they were dating, and she confronted the man that, we're not dating, I'm a married woman, don't say this about me, and the man, a police officer, beat up a female police officer, beat her up to the extent that he stripped her naked, took a gun and was about to shoot her until people around rescued her out of the place. And then she came back and said, if you want to kill me, like, you kill me in front of everybody because I didn't do anything wrong. Now, the picture and video went viral, and the investigation has started into what exactly was the case. Why did this happen? And I'm happy that the Commissioner of Police has already called the two of them in for questioning, and we're waiting to see how this pans out. It's totally wrong.
We need an ego peel in this country. Like an ego peel. Just something, just take a pill to...
Yeah, when that ego...
When that is jumping up, just... If I do an injection...
We need to
This is brutality.
Yes.
If somebody say no to you and then...
That ego of, listen, I have to bust over you, I must tell you,
ego, and then there's mental illness.
There is even more mental illness. I think that's all we can take on Front Page Review. I thought somebody had the custom story. Nobody?
Yes, I have the custom story. Do we have time to take it?
Okay, we don't have time. We have to run. That's all we can take. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We are here again with I Create Club segment. The club is sponsored by Vitafoam Nigeria PLC. And here with us is one of the club's past into school competition finalists, Diane. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Diane Iriga. I am 10 years old. I'm a sixth pupil of Kiran International School. My school is located at Sangotedo Lekki Peninsula. With me here is my head teacher, Mrs. Ozilo. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me here.
Good. Let's have a bit of Diane's throwback of a business pitch and the clip.
That was cool, Diane. So I want you to tell us about this business pitch that got you here on the show.
These Fruity Pops was born out of the idea of creating healthy popsicles from fruits and vegetables. I don't really like eating fruits, and my mom always tells me how fruit helps strengthen our immune system. And since I didn't like eating them, one day she got different kinds of fruits and made them into popsicles, which I enjoy. So I thought of making it into a business idea for other kids and adults like me who don't really like eating fruits to enjoy fruits in a fun and healthy way. When the I Create Business Challenge came up, I saw it as an opportunity to expose my business idea and determined to win. I researched on how to creatively put my ideas together. I thought of the kinds of fruits kids would like, such as pineapple, watermelon, and apple. I thought of making some samples of my popsicles, and my dad supported me with some money. I also thought of making an advertisement for my business plan, and my mom made a banner for me, and they promised to tell their friends about it. I creatively put my ideas together on paper, set to win.
Fantastic. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how was it pitching this to an audience?
I wouldn't say I was very confident on stage because it was my first time speaking in front of a crowd and I had stage fright.
Oh.
So my teachers, as well as my dad, who is very good at presentations, worked with me to overcome my fear and gain confidence during presentations.
So now that the competition is over, do you feel like a more confident person? You're more bold? You can stand in front of 1,000 people? How was that?
Yes, my stage fright is gone, and my school has made it a part of our curriculum by setting aside some days of the week where pupils make presentations either during the assembly or in the presence of our parents. This hasn't only helped me, but has also helped kids like me who had stage fright to overcome their fear and gain confidence during presentation. Participating in the business plan challenge and competing with other schools and winning has made me more confident.
Fantastic. Do you think business is something you would do in the next 20 years?
Yes, I do. I have a dream of going into business just like my parents by learning the ropes of business from them.
I wanted to ask you about sciences, you know. Science prepares you to be a doctor, mathematics prepares you to be an engineer. So we all know these subjects are important, but what would be your, which subject would you say prepares you for the future as a businesswoman?
I would say math, ICT, and home economics. For math, I'll use it to count all the money I would make. For ICT, I'll use it to make an advertisement for my business idea. And for home economics, I would rather use it to make different flavors of my popsicles.
Interesting.
So let's imagine I'm one of your classmates in class now. You want to sell to me. How would you sell to me? What flavor do you think I would like?
You would like watermelon, pineapple, or yogurt. Because popsicles are healthy for the body and it can strengthen our immune system.
Is it strictly for children or for adults too?
For kids and adults alike.
Oh, nice. To the teacher.
So I wanted to ask you, you've been here smiling.
I'm proud of my jewel.
Yeah, good. So I wanted to ask you about the competition. What role does the school play in grooming these pupils to ensure they stand out in the competition, and how does that make you feel?
I must say I'm very proud of Diane and all the jewels of Kiron International School. At Kiron International School, we are committed to raising global leaders, future leaders, through the use of technology, inquiring minds, hands-on learning across our curriculum. As KIS, each child's potential is recognized, nurtured, and treasured. Just like she mentioned, we develop their public speaking skills, different skills, creativity, critical thinking, problem solving, all these skills they need to thrive in our world. That's what we're committed to do in Kiron International Schools.
How has this club helped you, helped your children? How has the club in particular?
Oh, yes. First of all, I would say big thanks to Vitafoam for sponsoring such a great initiative. Then, the I Create Club, they come into our school sometimes to work with the children, engage them in different activities, give them creative activity sheets that challenge their minds and help them think outside the box, just like this business plan challenge. So for me, it's commendable because it has not only prepared these children for the big stages, it has taken them there. So I say well done to I Create Club.
Awesome. So I'd like you to have your final words. What would be the final word for you, from you to the I Create Club, to Vitafoam? What would you say?
To I Create, I'll say a very big thank you for allowing kids expose their creative mindset. And to Vitafoam, I'll say thank you for being a great sponsor and for the lovely gifts we received.
I must say, I think you're one of the smartest, confident children I've met in a very long time.
Thank you, ma'am.
You look very confident. I like to see your product. Is it here?
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, can I see what it looks like?
Here I brought some of my flyers.
Nice. You designed this yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
Lovely. Well
And
done.
also some samples of my popsicles.
It'd be great to see. Oh,
That's
nice and
watermelon, right?
colorful.
Yes.
Nice. Fantastic. Well done. Good job.
Thank you.
So there you have it. Well done to I Create Club, and thank you to Vitapum also for sponsoring and supporting this cause. That's all we can take on this. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. It's Thursday. We like to discuss family issues, especially when it comes to relationships and family. So there's a story that BC saw online, and she would like to tell us exactly what happened. I would love to discuss it. Go ahead, Obiachidu.
Ah, Morayo, you're not a nice
Let me
establish here.
Yeah, gist us.
So this family, they are in the US. They are Ugandan family. They live in America. The kids checked their father's phone. They snooped through their father's messages and found that their father was having conversations with another woman that is not their mother. And they confronted their father in a very, very not so pleasant
Was
manner.
it just
Conversation.
conversation?
You didn't get the brief.
You didn't get the brief now. They saw a video, apparently maybe from the man's phone, where he had a sexual something.
Carnal knowledge.
Carnal knowledge.
Oh my God.
On the matrimonial bed. And
Jesus.
recorded it. So, yes. So
And
they
you had
now
the gist.
confronted the man. They were rude. They were, no, I wouldn't use the word rude. They were upset.
Yes.
And they were talking to the man, using different, really talking to him about everything he's been doing. The man was just sitting down.
Humbled.
Humbled, I would say, or...
That's your interpretation.
Yeah, that's right. Or shocked, or...
Embarrassed.
I don't even care.
core of
I saw an I don't care attitude. What are you people talking about? You
So
know?
the conversation is,
it right?
Is it right for you if you see your father or your mother do something wrong to that level? Is it right for you to confront them, especially because you are a child? And these are people that raised you. And have we lost the African culture of respectability, or are we saying that regardless, when something is wrong, it doesn't matter if it's your parents, you have to say it out? And even if you want to point it out to your parents, should you use insulting words? Should you embarrass them? Should you totally disregard that, the parenthood factor? That this is my parent. You know, there's an African respect we have for our parents, that in this situation, some felt that maybe the children wasn't their business. These are two adults, that it is a marriage. You were not there when they got married. You're not there when they had issues while you're even still children. And they've been able to resolve it to this point. So on what basis does a child have to confront their parents on this matter? Others are saying that it's only a child that can actually defend her mother or his mother in this kind of situation. That's the conversation. So what's the right thing to do? That's our conversation. You can call us on 081-270-53687, 091-3907-694. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag your view TVC so we can read your tweets. How do you confront your parents when you see that they are cheating on the other parent?
So, I would like to start from the beginning. I don't think this would have been the first time these kids have noticed something like that. They may just have seen this gory video, and then it just sort of raises up everything that had been buried. They may have been seeing this woman being maltreated by the man, always constantly complaining. And I know that most mothers try as much as possible to shield what they are going through from their children. But for how long do you shield this? It gets to a certain age where the kids are, big enough, 19, 20. You can't, even when you are trying to hide, they are seeing how you are being treated on a day-to-day basis. And it becomes a subject to talk about in the home. And I personally agree that, or believe that, family members are supposed to hold each other accountable. So as you get older, as you're a child, you may be seeing some things. Growing up, I saw a lot of things that I would have questioned, but I was a little girl, and I know that they would slap my face to the back. So I kept quiet. But I got to an age where I would look at my father and say, Dad, this is wrong. Daddy, this is not acceptable. Daddy, don't treat this woman like this. Daddy, if they treat me like this, would you like it when I get married? You know, I started having those conversations. And I'm naturally forceful when I talk. And I took that from him. So we forcefully talk to each other about certain things. And I just noticed that somehow, because of the respect he had for me, that I had not messed up as a child, he started adjusting his ways in how he treated my stepmothers. I saw that growing up. I was able to have that conversation. So now we are raising children who, do we want wholesome children? We need to live by that example. We need to allow them express themselves. Now, how they express themselves may also come from a place of, they've seen a lot of things go wrong and they're just tired. They're not having it anymore. But we, as the children now, may try as much as possible to express ourselves well, even though we're handling parental... children solve issues between their mother and their father.
All right,
settle cases and all that.
Let me come to you, Mary. Your thoughts on this?
My thoughts that it's really a sad thing that's happened in their home, and I can understand the emotions that were at play, but I feel strongly that there has to be a way a child talks to a parent. That's just how I feel. I'm raising my children to be confident, you know, to be able to express themselves, but I also am very insistent on the manner in which they express themselves with adults, with your parents. My children would not scream and shout at me. I will not accept that. They will not scream and shout at their teacher. I would not accept that. As an employee, you will not go and scream and shout at your boss. You know, there's a way you have to understand to communicate your grievances, your anger. And so for me, the manner in which it was done was wrong. Now, not to be all sanctimonious, I know that in many homes, this sort of confrontation actually happens. Children have been known to raise their voices to their parents, you know, in situations like this. But usually you would have maybe another sibling that is trying to calm the waters and calm the tempers during that time. So for me, it's just that situation. I also do not agree with those who say this is a mother-father conversation. The children should not have been involved. They can be involved in that conversation, but it has to be done in a respectful manner, because whether you like it or not, there's a way that a child has to discuss with the father, even for the father to understand. There's a way a child has to discuss with the mother, for the mother to sit, and you will not raise your hand and your finger to your father's face, or you raise your finger to your mother.
No matter the issue.
You know the only issue? Pedophilia. Then you can hang him.
Okay,
so.
Let me come to you, talk with your initial thoughts on this.
So I'm of the opinion that as a parent, your children are your report card. And in some cases, you might say, I've done my best, my children still turned out this way. They are still your report card. And this is a reflection of their parenting on those children. Those children were raised by a man who can cheat and record a video of himself with another woman on the bed. Obviously, he deserved what he got, and that is who he is. Now, of course, we always say children should be like, even if your parents don't raise you well, as you've grown, you will retrain yourself. But the man deserved what he got based on what he did. And we need to stop this idea of we are worshipping our parents, and Africans don't talk back to our parents. Africans don't. As in leadership, in mentorship, your leader leads you, then you lead back. You are mentored, then you reverse mentor that person. In several cases, your parents might not know what they are doing wrong. You correct them. I feel that these children were fed up. Many African children don't express themselves to their parents. They don't tell their parents the truth of what they are feeling, but they are resentful. Many people don't take care of their parents because they resent their parents for what their parents did to each other. I have a friend that she hated her father for years because her father beat up her mother in the house, disrespected her mother. She just always hated the man. She left the house and did not spend a dime on that man for years. So she wasn't rude to that man, but her heart cursed her father every day. So when we say, don't say it, sometimes you say it. Then after you will need an apology, I had to just say it. How can you do this? Many fathers are living in this utopia, people don't tell them the truth. They don't understand the reality. They are a man, I'm a man. I can sleep with as many people I can sleep with. I can do whatever I can do. I take care of this household. That's not true. So sometimes it takes a child calling out the father and saying, that what you just did is an embarrassment. And I'm like, you don't do this kind of things. Because if we cannot correct ourselves inside the house, then somebody outside would embarrassingly correct us. So we can do our cleanup within the house. What I don't like is, why must everything go on social media? I beg. Why must you record and post it online? You are insulting your father. Insult him, cover your shame. Must you now insult him, finish, and post on Twitter? Must everybody know?
You bet people that's their way of life. Let's Uganda. I know. Yeah.
Well, you see, trying to think if I should share the story.
So, okay, go ahead. Yeah, I
wanted to say so because I had it, and not a similar experience, but let me go on a break. Let me think about it first. Right.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
We're still discussing, and the story I wanted to share, I think it's not my story, so I wouldn't bother sharing it. But I have heard of experiences where kids see things their parents do, maybe their father or their mother did, and they hold it in. They hold that grudge in. Some are not able to express themselves, and then they grow up as adults, pained, and then exert that tension on maybe the future spouse they have. So, what's the best way if you see your father or your mother doing something so wrong? Do you bottle it in out of respect, or do you voice it out?
Voicing it out is important. It's important to express yourself, but the manner in which you do it. I remember growing up, I would feel upset about something, and I would, as a child, I would go to speak to my mom, and she would say, I would not listen to you, because there's a way that you should speak to me. So what I would do is I learned to write. So usually, by the time I would have written everything down, the anger would have gone. And then when you write her a note, she sees it and then she calls you in for a conversation. My children have started from that. We started with, okay, you write it down. Do not just come and express yourself rudely to people. You don't do that. There's a way that I always emphasize. There's a way that you can send a message and still hold your own respect and your dignity. There's something my mom used to say that used to annoy me when I was a child, but now I see the importance of it. Where by the time, there's an issue with someone, but by the time it gets to her hearing, we have already quarreled and said so many mean things to each other. And so she says to me, yes, you may have been justified in the beginning if that was the issue, but you have done things after that makes you look so bad. That even the main reason for this conversation, we cannot have it because we have to deal with this. And so the point where I should have gotten justice or gotten heard for something, it has passed because I've spoiled it. So what I learned to do is, put this thing aside, and then we sit down and have a conversation. And now as an adult, I sit my mom down and we have conversations. I call her out on some bad behavior, and she does the same, And that is because that is how she has taught me to respond to situations. But that's calling, yelling. The thing is, you are doing that now for your parents and getting away with it. Your children will do it to you, and that is not the cycle that you want to. There'll always be, finally, there'll always be issues in families. You need to find the best way to handle it. The family, the society is a reflection of all our families as well. So we need to understand that we start in our homes first before we are talking about the whole society.
So I like your idea. That's like an ideal, and probably you had parents who knew very early how to communicate, who are calm in handling issues, and you took it from there. Who raised these children? They may have seen how their father spoke to their mother. If they were in a house where they would have conversations, because you raise your children, they replicate you, but a bigger version, a more updated version of you. So if you're naturally a shouter, maybe you come to the house, you bully your wife, you beat, you do things, you tell her, go to hell and all that. This is how the children know that you communicate, and that's how they will communicate. So I don't think we should communication is good, and we're teaching people to communicate well, but I don't think that should be the main issue here right now, because they are communicating how they saw their parents communicate first. But secondly, I wanted to... we're teaching... Yes.
You're assuming that they're communicating the
See,
way their own parents communicated.
Lion, no, they born goat. No,
Yes.
hold on. Lion, listen now. Lion, no, they born goat. I told you how I would communicate with my father, because that's what I saw him do growing up. If peradventure he was a very calm... My father is not calm. I'm just exactly like him. If he was a calm person, and I grew up imbibing that calmness, there's no way I'm going to... get shouting from any other place, because I don't know how to. So hold on, please. Let me quickly finish what I wanted to say. So it's different when it's a conversation you hear from outside. When you bring yourself to a level where your children see your nakedness, you think they are going to have. You have lost it. Because every child sees the father as a hero growing up, especially girls. And these were girls. They see their fathers as heroes. Everything the father does, except in extreme cases where they are now traumatized, that they begin to think otherwise. Every child naturally sees the father as a hero. So when your child sees your nakedness with another woman that is not their mother, what are you talking about? Which respect? Which dignity are you looking for? You have lost it in their eyes. You have to do a lot to redeem that. So it depends on how they also handle it. And I also want to assume that not all of them will be the confrontation. Maybe one of them will just sit down there and be observing, you know. The shock will not even let... Some people fight, flight, freeze. Anyone that you find yourself in, you are there to handle that situation. But that's not the time we are going to be talking about respect. If you respected your wife enough, you will not bring your wife, bring another woman into the matrimonial home and do a recording.
I wanted to take you on something, but let me take this call first. Good morning, Samuel. Are you there?
Good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Mariah, thank you so much. My name is Pastor Sam Otopa from Benue State.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, I think I love what you're discussing this morning. One of the things I want us to understand as parents or would-be parents is that they used to say that if you've not trained them, you can't blame them. And we must always know that the fault of the children or their failure as children is our fault as parents. So, for the man to go to the extent of injuring himself, no, that was abominable. Not only that he abused himself, insulted himself, he also insulted the woman in Western. So, but there was something we learned from the Bible concerning Noah. When his son saw the nakedness of the father, he actually covered it. One of them exposed it, and that brought curse upon the child. So in Africa, we are brought up in that way. But that does not mean you're not to bring up your child in the way whereby they can be able to tell you the truth to your face. But in a manner whereby they are not abusing you. I think that is, I don't know the age of those children. I don't know how old they are. But the father actually insulted himself by the way he went. In Africa, we believe in polygamy, yes. But we don't believe in adultery. We don't believe in that you come to the thing that in this modern time, you go and begin to commit immorality or adultery, then you begin to video yourself for what? For what?
Thank you, Samuel. There was a part that Mariam said about even in confrontation, you have to hold on to your respect and dignity. And I wanted to bring that because there was a time where, and I told you before, and I said on this show, where my husband got into a fight with somebody, and I resolve issues. I'm not the kind of person. I try to calm the situation and try to understand what happened. So in that, and I remember saying that my husband was telling me to do the whole with him, and I'm like, calm down. What happened? I mean, I was trying to tell everybody to calm down. I was trying to calm him down. He was, until tomorrow, he still holds it against me that I was calming him down. That don't I realize what that man did was wrong? And shouldn't I also be the with him? And I'm like,
that's not who you are.
That's not who I am.
That's not where you were raised.
So I wasn't raised like that. I wasn't in my family. There was never gra anywhere. You have a problem, my father would say, write it down. Let's discuss it. Let's have a conversation. So as a spouse now, I'm supposed to do the whole hey because my husband is doing hey. Of course not. So how do we reconcile how we're raised? I'm just saying it's problem solving. I cannot be who I'm not. So there's some people that I had to throw that in because you accused me of not being crackdown with my husband at that time. That's why I had to just throw that in.
Yes,
and we are all different, and it's okay. The conversation here is not about whether one should be aggressive or one should be passive. It is if you find someone you respect doing something distasteful and that is disrespectful, should you address it? Should you address such a situation? That's the conversation. So you find, these people found their parents, someone that you should respect, doing something embarrassing. Deal with it. Deal with the situation based on your personality. Now, there's a higher standard to do all things. Personality-wise, I wouldn't shout. I wouldn't get aggressive. I will not insult. It's not in my wiring. Someone was having a conversation with my husband and said they said the person was cursing and using foul language. She said he can swear it with his life that Tokwe would never, ever swear. Why? I grew up in a household where it is not in any way allowed. So no amount of aggravation can bring out what is not inside me. These people, there is something in them. Yeah. It's already there. They can work on being better. On this platform, we advise the ideal life. Let's refine ourselves. Even if you were born in a ghetto, even if you were born in a bad environment, you are now enlightened. You've watched us on this show. Know better. Deal with situations without letting it degenerate. But deal with the situation. Don't avoid it. Don't hide it, because if you settle it into your mind, it will build resentment, and you don't want that in your relationship.
Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll take some phone calls and tweets. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Right, we're still discussing the manner in which these children who found that their father was cheating on their mother in their home, we're still discussing how they confronted their father in this situation and look at the various angles. Yeah. Yes.
So there's something that both Tokwe and BC have said, which is this is not about how they approach the father, it's more about what he did. I think there are two issues that can be discussed. Both of them can exist together. And I still stand on there's a better approach. And secondly, what he did is wrong. But we have to understand that in many families, people face different kinds of trials and tribulations. Sometimes it's a deadbeat father. Sometimes you have, I know someone who said to me, many women complain about the fact that their husbands are cheating. I wish that was the issue I was having. You know, so there are different things, but we need to find out at the family level, how do we address issues? How do we solve problems? And if we say that our children are a reflection of us, you know, I heard this recently where they say that they get to a certain age or stage where an adult child can no longer point a finger at his parents or at her parents and say, you made me this. There comes a point in your life where you need to take a position for yourself. And so if we need to break the cycle, I was going there, you know, earlier, if we need to break the cycle of how we respond to things, of how we address things, we need to start with ourselves today. And if you're an adult child, 18, 19, 20, 21, you can make some of these decisions yourself. You can look at, you know, critically dissect situations and choose what is right for you and what do you think is best, you know, for you to thrive. And then we talk about our society. All the time we talk about how people respond to each other on social media. Where do we think it's coming from? If we do not take charge of how we respond to issues in our homes, in our personal lives, we come to social media and we act out. And people are wondering if these particular Nigerians come from a different place. So for me, what I saw there, the way it was handled, it was wrong. That does not mean you cannot handle it, or you should not handle it, or you should keep it in and then build resentment. It just means that there has to be a better way to do it, and talk to your parents in such a way that it will make the impact that you want. This man can just show the video and family members or whoever it is that is interested will sit there and say, no, but you shouldn't have spoken to your father in this manner. And then to be about how they spoke to their father. What he did is wrong. So many bad things happen in families.
Let me take this call from Mary.
Address it.
Mary, are you there? Holding from London, you're live.
Yes, I am. Good morning, first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. So I find this topic very interesting because recently I had, something similar happen in my family where I had to put my foot down to my dad in a way that I could not even believe I did. I feel like it's easy for you to, for us to judge the way those, children responded to their dad because we don't know what their side of the story is. I know that between a couple, right, just when they are adults, how they handle their issues is between them. But sometimes the way a couple or parents handle their issues begins to affect the children in the home and the relationship that the children have with the parents. And at that point, a lot of kids can't take it. So if my parents are having an issue and I'm supposed to stay out and leave them to handle the issue without, disrespecting my parents, but at some point, that issue begins to affect my life. Where do I speak up as a child? I think I've come to a point where I have understood that I am an adult, and whatever issues my parents are having, the day it begins to affect me, the day my father is cheating on my mom, and he doesn't have time for me anymore, or he's not focusing on the things we have laid down as a family because he's focusing on some woman outside, I will confront him.
Right.
Yeah. So I wanted to say, okay, so I wanted to talk about something, and I had a friend while growing up, really young, when we were really, really young, we're teenagers, and this my friend was always talking about how her father had different rounds of women, like they were different women, and they knew. At a point when we were in our 20s, our father was dating somebody in school. Like the father was a serial philanderer, a friend's father. Okay. So, and it was like a case of embarrassing. All of us were disgusted, and there was a day it became a conversation, and she didn't even know it was a bad thing, because all her life she always knew her father there was always one babe, somebody around. There was always one quarrel, they would pour pepper, they would pour soup. It was a messy household. It took us as friends in the university to let her know that your father is disgusting. Why would I come to greet you in your house and he'll be propositioning me and he knows I'm your friend? Like, this is abnormal. Embarrassing. So sometimes you might have been so brought up in a wrong, bad situation that you don't even know that what is going on around you is wrong and bad. Until date, even though the man has passed on, it was first like she was angry with us because she felt like we were insulting her father, because we were the ones that insulted her father. In this case, this video, the children were insulting their father. This one, community of friends, were insulting our friend's father for being a terrible man. Because it was a horrible situation.
If your father comes
and
to me,
she took it personal for a while, and later, upon marriage, she's divorced. They have a dysfunctional home. Sometimes we need to deal with this situation because the ripple effect is far.
Head on.
I don't think there is any, there are like 6 children. I don't think there's any of them that is still married or in the first marriage. There are some that have had 2 marriages. These things have ripple effects. Parents must get their act right. Don't bring children into the world where you cannot take care of your child. Don't do this. If you are going to become a parent, understand that you are the first role model of your children and you must live to a higher standard. So don't say, don't do like me, do what I say. You must be ready to make the sacrifice as a parent.
So let's get a bit real. So if you're going to cheat, are we saying that cheat outside? Don't cheat your friends, your child's friends, number one. Don't cheat and bring the person to the house. Are we cheating responsibly or don't just cheat?
So we always say, don't cheat. No, hold on. Let's be real here now. We always say, don't cheat. But people are cheating, and people will still cheat tomorrow. There's nothing we can do about it. But if you have to cheat, be responsible in your cheating. Do not bring disrespect back home to your cheating. Every man, growing up back in the ages, we've seen that most men are lord and masters, and their wives cower, their children cower. Nobody has the right to challenge them. But things are changing now. Times are changing. Children are becoming bolder to say, I have to hold you accountable because this would affect my life. I have to hold you accountable. That conversation is now open and children can actually have the conversation. There's something I realized growing up. And aside from the fact that I realized, I also saw it in this Desperate Housewives, where one of the parents was, she had a very turbulent, emotional, that's the foreign one back in the day, Desperate Housewives. The other one that was always drinking, dating different people, she had a daughter who was more mature than herself. It was actually the daughter that was parenting her. There are homes that me have seen that the children are even more mature than the parents. They are the ones, they had to grow up very fast because they had babies as parents. People who refuse to grow, their mindset and their emotional intelligence stopped at the age of 16 or 15, even though they are 45 and 50. And so somebody has to take responsibility. And now, how you now take the responsibility is something you can now start having conversations with. And I know that sometimes women see all of these things, but they are not afraid to handle it with their husbands. So a child will now say, Mommy, I cannot sit down and see you being disrespected over and over. Since you cannot speak for yourself, I will speak for you. All the fight I was fighting my father was not for my mother. They were for stepmothers. They had nothing to, they had no blood connect with me, but I was fighting for them because I could not bear to see the injustice meted out on them. We cannot begin to speak English like Miriam later. Do it in a more. But when you verse the verse, you don't verse them.
No. I'll come to
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
In a minute, but let me take this call from Damilola. I'll come to
the verse.
Good morning, Damilola. Are you there?
That's an unfair.
Oh, I'm sorry, I lost that call. So, I mean, just like you said, if they provoke, this is what I was hearing in radio. If they provoke, you don't go provoke. Like,
no.
So angry.
No. So let me put something down. Even me, as tough as my voice seems, with situations like that, I have a conversation. And that's why my in-laws can call me to come to Alagbado and come and solve their issues. I did not stumble into being a life coach. I have it. I don't handle issues like that. We're going to preach that. But when somebody handles issues like that, on one hand, there's a better way. On the other hand, let us deal with the issue so that it doesn't keep repeating itself. That's what I'm saying. That's where I stand.
The way you handle issues also affects how the issue is eventually handled or not. Sometimes the way you handle issues worsens an already bad situation. And so that is why it's important. When we talk about conflict resolution on a national level, we have to start from somewhere. If it is conflict resolution, we're talking about that the man went and took scissors to his daughter's friend's dress and was cutting it because he felt he was really upset that she beat his daughter and recorded it. So if you cannot learn in your simple homes and your simple communities how to handle issues, you go and embarrass yourself somewhere and then get in bigger trouble. It is not about speaking English. It's about the fact that you respect yourself enough to know how to handle an issue confidently without staining yourself with all the rancor back and forth. If it can be done that way. Some people have been known that they're in a home where there are issues going on with their parents. We have seen children that have beat up parents before. And do
Totally
we justify
wrong.
it?
No, not at all.
But where does it start from? If today you are putting hand inside my nose and into my ear, tomorrow you can
slap.
There's not slap. Take this call from Michael. Michael from Zurich. Good morning. Are you there?
Hello, good morning.
You're live.
Good
Go
morning
ahead, please.
to all the ladies of your view.
Yes.
Yeah, good morning. Yes, I just want to make a bit of a contribution. I actually think some of these children, I think the parents actually is just a reflection of who they are. Because normally children are actually from a clear heart, like their heart is like a tabula rasa. So most of the behavior that children exhibit is actually from the parents. But however, the parents' behavior already, especially in this situation, has already affected the children, no matter what, even maybe in their future, in their relationship, in their marital life, surely is going to affect them. They're going to have trust issues. And secondly, I actually think at the end of the day, it's going to be a little bit difficult for them to really trust their husband maybe in the future. I think they need some counseling and therapy as well because...
Thank you, Michael. I know a family that the children have tried to intervene a few times and they try to fight for their mother. But their mother always go right back to the man. And
that's the fear.
So a child gets really frustrated, like, you know what, Mommy, I tried, you don't need this in your life. They want to take out the mother.
But the mother
Mommy, I want to get you a new place because maybe the man is beating her up or, really, really disrespecting the mother. And the mother chooses to stay. So a child gets frustrated to the point. So when you feel like your mother has been so subjected to this man's dominion or dominance in the house, that you then feel that the only way she can understand
is when you scream.
Is when you scream and confront the man head-on.
So wisdom, they say, is profitable to direct. You also need to understand the type of man that you want to bring, you know. There are some men that don't respond to shouting, and, you know, we scatter ground today. There are some men that do. There are some men that for you to get anything done in the house, as much as give me little money to cook soup, you have to scatter ground. So if you have, no, I'm telling you, if you have, I have a friend now, her issue is when my husband is having a conversation and says, when I'm shouting, BC keeps quiet. He said, if I keep quiet, I will not get anything done in the house. That's what she told my husband. He said, but that's a reality. That's a reality. That's how she has to get across to the man.
It's not a prison
It's not a,
sentence.
yeah.
But do you want her to now divorce because the man needs shouting?
She will manage.
You will pick your battles, oh. It's wisdom. So you look at the man that you want to talk to. I realized growing up that if I am calm and I'm listening, I'm talking to my dad. So it depends on his mood. There are some moods that he will listen to me when I got into the university and we'll have a conversation. There are some moods that I have to say, Daddy, no, we are not doing it like this. Daddy, I disagree with you. But that does not mean I insult him. That does not mean I'm going to put hands in his eyes. But I can raise my voice and say, Daddy, on this case, no, we're not going. I don't agree. And I was his only daughter. He had so much respect for me because I also tried to live my life in a way that he would respect me. So when I say, Daddy, no, this is not going to happen, he will like, okay, all right. And I see him make adjustments. So even the children understood how to get to their parents, except, of course, it's a madhouse where everybody is shouting. So use wisdom, the one that works for you. If you say all of us should be mwe and speaking calmly. No, listen.
Making this unfair comparison.
No, I'm not comparing
someone who is calmer to be mwe.
No.
We've talked about this on this show too many times, where if you're not aggressive, if you're not forceful,
it will look like you're a fool.
No, that's not the...
No, but it's a Nigerian thing. And maybe you don't even realize that you're doing it, but you're enforcing it every time you say it. There's some men that have called us, you know, they have called women out. Or you could say you want kind men, but every time a man is kind, you call him foolish. It's this sort of narrative that we have.
You need to understand that you have to follow what works for each person. That's what I'm getting at.
All right, let me take this call from Malimo Show. Michael, are you there for Malimo Show?
Hello, Mariam.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
You kept me for 3 minutes.
I'm sorry. Sorry about that.
I'm so sorry.
So, thank you very much for the discussion. You see, every time the question of cheating, most of you don't know what to do to handle it. Most especially Obiajolo. The way you handle it with force. There's nothing you can ever. You are not to beat the parents up.
Of course not.
Your parents, they are older than you. You can only suggest to them with respect. With respect. No matter whatever they do, you go to the Bible. You cannot point address your parents just like Marian talk. And so much I enjoy Marian and Nema. They are more mature than you to handle issues. Wow. If I have people, I cannot invite you there,
Please,
interesting.
Go ahead, Michael. Are you there?
Yes.
Oh,
I think because,
okay.
but you see, the truth is that we tend to see things from who we are. And it's important in life that we understand there are two sides who are different. There are multiple opinions, and we need to now decipher. In between all of that, there is a guiding principle. Nobody on this platform has mentioned insulting someone. Nobody on this platform has said that you should raise finger and talk rudely to an elderly person. None of us here, in all gra levels, support it. But I also think that there are some people that by their wiring, they might end up being tilted towards that way. The advice is, even if you are like that, BC has said it several times here, people don't hear.
They don't
that as she shouts, when she's talking to her husband, she know they shout. But now, waiting, she talks, say she they shout, and that one you go hear and you go hold. She said it over and over again, that if she's facing her husband, though, when he's blowing hot, she'll just be looking. She said it here, that when her parents, her in-laws are settling quarrel, they call her because of her wisdom and her calmness. But you will not hear. It is the can we just truly listen and hear one another out? Because we will not resolve a solution if we don't truly understand the problem. And that is, it displays in many other areas of life. So, in situations like this, hear each other out. Yes, it's important to resolve situations based on the personality of the person you are dealing with, but you don't need to become them. You can live better. You can rise higher. You can become a better version of yourself. You might be born in a violent home and choose to be calm. It can happen to you.
I think we can end on that.
Yeah,
Thank
amazing.
you so much.
Well
It's the
done.
way to end the show. But I think in a nutshell also that at the end of the day, everybody must mature and choose the way of life that works for them. But as you're choosing that way of life, you must also ensure that you don't disrespect other people. So in this situation of this parents, the children had a choice. How do we resolve? You can choose how you want to resolve issues, but make sure whatever choice you make, don't lose your self-respect and dignity in all of it. That's all we can take on today's show. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.